The fifth meeting of the Senate State and Local Government Committee is called to order. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Rocky Adams, Senator Chambers Armstrong, Senator Herron, Senator Maiden, Senator Mays Bledsoe, Senator McDaniel, Senator Mills, Senator Rawlings, Senator Tishner, Vice Chair Elkins,
Present.
Chair Nemus.
Present. Reminders, please remember to silence your cell phones during the meeting. Please remember to turn off the microphones when speaking. Turn on your microphone when you're speaking. I guess that depends on who you are, whether we want on or off. We're going to go out of order, and we're going to take the first one on the agenda for today will be Senate Bill 141, sponsored by Senator Givens.
PLC's on it. Must be something for them.
Go ahead and introduce yourselves, and you have the floor.
Chairman Nemus and members of the committee, I'm State Senator David Givens, the 9th Senate District. Honored to be here with you today, and I'm going to do a brief presentation on the genesis of the legislation you have before you, and then I'll ask each of my colleagues here at the table to introduce themselves and speak about their role in this conversation. So over the course of years in my time here in the legislature, we have recurring conflicts. All of us that have been here a little bit are aware of those recurring conflicts, and this is one that we've seen time and time again. That combination of the need to print public notices in newspapers and the cost of those public notices and the benefit of them. And so it's been a recurring struggle between, hey, we need to print more for transparency, but we're using taxpayer funds to pay for these costs to do this printing. About a little over a year ago, I asked if the Press Association and the League of Cities and KCO and those involved could get together in a room and hammer it out. And you don't often find groups as willing to work as these three were. They actually came together, took it on themselves to go to work on it, and what you have before you is the work product of agreed to language between the Kentucky Press Association, KLC, and KCO, and it strikes that balance between cost, taxpayer investment, and transparency, public notice. With that, I'm going to pause and let my colleagues address how they arrived at this place, and then we'll be glad to entertain any questions you may have on the legislation.
Good morning, Gracie Kelly with the Kentucky League of Cities. Like Senator Givens said, this has been a long time coming. We had started discussions this interim and had very successful discussions. We went back and forth several times on this bill. I think we're all proud of this bill. Just to kind of give you all a little bit of an overview, I'll walk through a summary of some of the sections. Section 1 of the bill adds clarity to existing law by defining a published statement of ownership. It aligns with current Kentucky statute, which identifies the United States Postal Service forms that newspapers already file annually. Section 2 updates how Kentucky law determines which newspapers are qualified to publish legally required notices. It clarifies when a newspaper is considered published in a community, provides objective rules when more than one newspaper serves the same area, and addresses situations where no qualifying newspaper exists in a county or an adjoining county. Section 3 deals with publication errors. If a newspaper fails to publish or makes a mistake inadvertently, it allows a local government to cure that issue without missing statutory guidelines. Section 4 ensures public agencies are charged fair and reasonable rates for legally required notices. And Section 5 through 8 update ad size requirements and provide more practical timelines for required public hearings. And with that, I'll let my colleagues also speak on the bill.
Shelley Hampton, Director of Government Affairs for Kentucky Association of Counties. I want to thank Senator Givens for the gentle push from last year. And it's always a pleasure to work with the League and with KPA. Certainly our newspapers play a vital role. They help us get our message out. There's a lot that went into this bill, a lot of time. I will say that it is good to see the progression into the 21st century technology where more and more people get their information off the internet. And so we appreciate Senator Givens' support of this, and our members look forward to continuing to work with KPA on any issues that come forward, and I'll turn it over to them.
Thank you and good morning. My name is Jay Nolan. I'm the Government Affairs Co-Chair for the Kentucky Press Association and past president of the organization. And I'd like to echo the compliments made to Senator Givens. We got a strong push from him to try to work this out. I will say there were a lot of thorny issues that came about, but we were really impressed with how each member of each group put the good of the Commonwealth ahead of their individual interest. There's nothing in this bill that I love 100%, and I don't think that's true for any of us, but all of us feels like it modernizes the Kentucky public notice infrastructure, and we did balance that important point that Senator raised about cost. For example, in the new bill, newspapers have more readership today online than we do in print. But we still have a print product that prevents things from being hacked or damaged or destroyed or altered after the fact. Once they're in print, they're solid. We also were going to provide in this bill for free 24/7, 365 access to all statewide public notices from any newspaper to everyone in the Commonwealth of Kentucky at no cost to the state through the Press Association. So we believe in this bill strong enough. We're backing it with not just our intents, but we're putting our money where our mouth is on this. We think it's important for public notices to be widely available to the public. So we do have that transparency that the senator knows is so important without driving up the cost of doing that. And also it will broaden the reach and bring us forward into the digital age for new people to have access online 24/7, 365 at their fingertips through kypublicnotice.com. So we're really excited about it, and we really thank the senator for what he's done for us.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? I see none. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Rocky Adams. Senator Chambers Armstrong. Senator Elkins.
Explain my vote, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please.
Thank you. I want to thank the Senator for the work on this bill and everybody getting together, because this bill is important. It bolsters or fosters transparency, which is very important to all of us. It doesn't leave the newspapers out of the conversation, which is very important to them because our local communities depend on those newspapers to get information, and we can't leave them behind as we're working on these bills. So thank you for bringing this bill, and I vote aye.
Senator Herron. Senator Maiden.
I'm going to be an aye. Can I explain my vote?
Yes, please.
I too want to thank the senator for resolving this, because I've been on both sides of this issue. As Mr. Nolan knows, I had a father that managed a newspaper for his group. Being on the other side as a mayor, we didn't like the cost and everything, but more importantly, our local newspapers and rural America are very important, and I'm glad to see you all get that worked out, because I really hated seeing that last session that, you know, that could possibly end up something bad. So appreciate you, Senator Givens, for taking the lead to get them together, and you all, Shelley and Gracie, and I guess Gracie, that just goes to show you when you get JD out of the way what we can get done.
You said it.
Senator Mays Bledsoe.
Aye.
Senator McDaniel. Senator Mills.
Aye.
Senator Rawlings.
Aye.
Senator Tishner. Chair Nemus.
Aye. Senate Bill 141 passes 10-0, and we expect it to do so on the floor with favorable expression.
Chairman, thank you. Members of the committee, thank you. Thank you.
The second item on the agenda is Senate Bill 9, sponsored by Senator Mills.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. I'm all by myself.
Introduce yourself, and you have the floor.
I'm Robbie Mills. I'm state senator from District 4 in Northwest Kentucky. Mr. Chairman, we have a sub. If we want to adopt this sub, we can talk about the sub.
Do I have a motion on the sub?
So moved.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The sub has been adopted.
Very good. Let me tell you what the sub did, and it just addressed some concerns from Farm Bureau and from the Kentucky Bankers Association. Those small changes were added to the sub. Kentucky is short 206,000 housing units, and if we continue the current developing rate in the next 5 years, we'll be almost 300,000 housing units short. We must do everything we can to encourage housing development in the Commonwealth. There are several actions that will be presented in this legislative session that cost nothing to our budget to encourage housing development, and there'll be a few actions that might cost our budget some money. Senate Bill 9 is one of those actions that will not cost our budget a penny, but will be a very helpful tool for local governments to use to encourage housing development in their community. Senate Bill 9 gives cities and counties two tools to encourage developers to get off the sideline and to begin building more homes in our local communities. These tools, if used properly, could make more residential development lots available across the state, expedite the building process, and make a home more affordable along the way. One of the tools that Senate Bill 9 makes available to local governments is called a Residential Infrastructure Development District. This tool was developed to help get infrastructure in the ground and to help make more building lots available for home building. A residential infrastructure development district is comprised of at least 5 acres and shall require at least $5 million in infrastructure costs to complete the development. This district is established by the local governments with approval of the property owners and developer. The developer shall request its plan to the local government for certain infrastructure costs that need to be installed in that district. Upon approval of the infrastructure plan, the local government shall have the power to bond the developer's infrastructure plan, making available the funds for the developer to install the infrastructure immediately. Repayment of these bond funds shall be made through a special assessment on each lot within the residential infrastructure development district, with the local government functioning as the collector. This development tool will help developers overcome the costly infrastructure costs that might cause a project to not ever be developed, and it should make more lots available and land available for development. It also should lower the total development cost and hopefully lead to more affordable housing units being built. The second tool, number 2 tool, that Senate Bill 9 makes available is called a Housing Development District. This district shall be set forth by a local government by ordinance and shall not consist of more than 1,000 acres. Within this housing development district, a developer can file an application for an approved project which contains at least 15 housing units, including multifamily and mixed-use housing. During the approval process, the local government shall have the authority to negotiate with the developer an annual housing incentive payment, which would be based on a percentage of the total property tax collected the preceding year from each of the participating taxing districts. The length of this annual incentive payment shall not exceed 7 years for new construction and 15 years for rehabilitations. Within this residential housing district, the local government could exempt from planning and planning review. They could also implement an alternative process for permitting and review. This development tool should once again help encourage developers in multiple ways to build more housing units and help reduce the total cost of a housing unit. It will also give local governments the flexibility to negotiate for exactly what their community needs related to housing, as they could require certain projects to be workforce housing, certain projects to be affordable first-time home buyers' homes, or even more denser housing units like condos, townhouses, and multifamily homes. So, Mr. Chairman, in closing, Senate Bill 9 gives local governments tools to be aggressive in recruiting new housing in their community, and I believe it's going to make a dent in our housing shortage in Kentucky. Mr. Chairman, I'll be happy to answer any questions related to this. This is not an easy bill to describe. There's a lot of
We have a
details.
motion and a second. Is there any
I'll be
discussion
quiet.
on the bill? Senator Tishner.
Thank you for your work on this, Senator Mills, and for the interim task force.
Yeah.
The last couple of years,
2
right,
years.
has been working on this. I regret that I didn't have time to watch all of those, and so I'm just going to ask a little bit about this. I have concerns from constituents all the time about too much development that's happening in part of my district. So I want to make sure this would in no way streamline the process so much so that the public would not have an opportunity to bring concerns before the local government.
Not at all. I mean, this is a tool in the toolbox for local governments. If they chose to expedite planning and zoning or anything of that nature within the district, they could do that. But for the most part, this gives them the ability to do exactly what they feel like their constituents, their locals require. So in more denser areas where there are concerns about traffic and about road sizes and things like that, those local communities understand and know those problems, and I believe they would not allow something to be expedited like that.
Okay.
Yep.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You mentioned this isn't a cost to the state, and we're not putting any money right into this project.
Right.
I do, maybe it's not a question, but I do have concerns, and we can talk about this offline as well.
Yep.
In Section 3, that the local government will have the power to issue bonds, notes, and other debt to pay for infrastructure costs or reimburse the developers for those infrastructure costs,
Right.
and that they could use revenue collected from special assessments. So although it may not directly in this bill require an allocation, but it might in the long run if local governments are heavily funding or needing funding for these infrastructure projects. Would that be an accurate assessment?
No, not really. So,
Okay.
the infrastructure we're talking about is specifically focused on the district that's laid out. That the bonds will actually be paid from that district, so no one outside of that district will be paying for those. And also, the bill lays out that the local government can actually take an administrative fee within that bond collecting process that would actually reimburse them for any time the local government might have administratively, dealing with the collection of the small assessments.
Senator Chamber Armstrong.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for the bill. I'm going to be a yes, but I've got just a quick question. So I believe that we need more housing at all price points. It helps make more housing more affordable. But I'm not seeing anything in this legislation as I'm reading it. And like you said, it's very dense that would require the homes built under this, that a certain percentage of them be legally classified as affordable, or require that certain units be available to folks at lower incomes. Help me understand if there's something I'm missing, or if this is just a bill based on the theory that if we build more housing, that's going to lower the price point for folks.
Yeah. Nope, not necessarily. What my thought process here was to give local governments as much control over this process. So if they understand that they need workforce housing, they need first-time home buyers, hopefully they will use this tool to encourage that to happen in their community. So we're not saying do this, do that. We're letting the local officials make that decision.
Can I ask a follow-up, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Thank you. So just to make sure we're on the same page, you do not think it would be incompatible with this legislation for a local government to say, okay, we will go through alternative permitting for this project, provided that a certain number of the units be for folks at 80% AMI, or you have a child care center, or whatever requirements a local government would want to put in place.
That's what I'm hoping will happen.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's helpful.
Yep.
Seeing no other questions, and we have a motion and a second, Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Senator Rocky Adams. Senator Chambers Armstrong. Senator Elkins.
Aye.
Senator Herron. Senator Maiden, Senator Mays Bledsoe,
Explain my vote, please.
Yes, please.
I thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I vote aye. And I just want to thank the senator for his leadership on this. Year two, trying to get this bill done. I co-sponsored it last time. I'll do it again. It's a really important bill for Fayette County in particular, as we talk about the expansion area and how we have made some of those changes. How we pay for infrastructure in those expansion is really important. This provides that framework to allow us to pull resources outside of the exaction fees and other services. It's really important. So I appreciate the support and tenacity to get it over the finish line. Thank you.
Senator McDaniel, Senator Mills,
I vote aye.
Senator Rawlings, Senator Tishner,
Can I explain my vote?
Yes, please.
I'm going to give you a pass vote, and I would love to continue discussing this. I just want to make sure it's right for my district, and we can talk offline about it. Thank you.
Chair Nemus.
Aye. Senate Bill 9 has 9 yeas and 1 pass, so it passes committee with favorable expression, and we expect it to do so on the floor. No other business coming to the committee. We are adjourned.